This piano exercise will literally break your brain, and it sounds like this. Now, at first you might be thinking, well, that's just 5-note scales in contrary motion. What's the big deal? Oh, how wrong you are. And if you're thinking, well, I don't even know what the hell a 5-note scale or contrary motion even is, let's start at the beginning. Like any good piano exercise, the goal here isn't to play something necessarily beautiful. It's really just meant to give your fingers kind of like a tongue twister almost. It's a tongue twister for your fingers. And everything from regular scales to exercises like Hanon does that pretty well. It can help us build up our finger strength and independence. And Hanon, for example, it can get pretty difficult the deeper you dive in. But it wasn't until I found out about Ernst von Dohnanyi and his Essential Finger Exercises book that I realized just how insane it can get. And by the way, if you want to download a PDF of this exercise so you can try it yourself, there's a link in the description. You can get that completely for free. Sign up, I'll send it straight to you, and I'll also let you know about some details of the upcoming Black Friday sale that is literally launching in like 2 days, or less than 2 days, I don't even know. It's going to be absolutely insane. It's my entire course library, 8 courses for 99 bucks, and we're doing a few really exciting things this time around. First of all, we're bringing back a couple of courses that have been closed for enrollment. We're opening them back up again. They're included in this bundle, and they're the courses taught by my professor, somebody that was responsible for teaching me so much of what I know. David De Jesus teaches a course all about harmony, Harmony 101, and he teaches the Improv Obstacle course. Those are 2 amazing courses that Dave put together. You get those 2 as well as all 6 of the ones that I've built. But wait, there's more. This year also serves as kind of like the pre-sale for the long-awaited Intro to Piano 2.0. The Intro to Piano course is my best-selling course ever, and it is the course which is a comprehensive introduction to the piano, kind of like the name says. It's jam-packed full of tools, it's got everything you need to know, and it is about to be replaced by a brand new, bigger, better version. Intro to Piano 2.0 is coming. We're working on it now. It's going to be released very soon. And if you get a hold of the bundle on this Black Friday, you are going to be automatically grandfathered in. When the new Intro to Piano 2.0 launches, it'll automatically replace what's already in your account. You won't have to do anything. You'll just log in one day and you'll have a whole new course. And that goes for anybody that owns Intro to Piano at the time that 2.0 is released. You're going to get that automatic update. But here's the thing. Once 2.0 comes out, that course alone is going to be more expensive than this entire bundle. So why not pick up 8 courses, literally for the price of one? It's like over a $700 value, and we're doing it 99 bucks. I think that's like, was that 80% off? More than 80% off? Because I want to do something crazy for Black Friday. We've done it for the last 3 years. Inflation be damned. I don't care about inflation. We're gonna keep it the same. No, but really, this is how I support this channel, rather than taking sponsors from companies that you and I both don't care about. I was like, why don't I build something that I can provide that's directly from me, that it's actually useful for you. That was the whole point of starting the courses in the first place, and your support over the last few years has just been absolutely insane and amazing, and I can't thank you all enough for that. So if you want to check out this year's Black Friday sale, first and foremost, get the PDF of the exercise that we're talking about in this video, and I will also send you some information about that sale. By the time you're seeing this, it may already be live, in which case there'll be a link in the description that'll take you straight to it. And again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. It's absolutely incredible. It's what allows me to do this, to make these videos that I love to make. So thank you. One particular exercise, my brain just broke. Here's what it looks like. It kind of appears unassuming at first, but it's in the breakdown of the subdivisions and accents that this thing reveals itself, and just how insane and brilliant it really is. To understand what makes this truly formidable, here's a crash course on subdivisions. Inside of a 4/4 measure, we can play one whole note. It consumes all 4 beats, or the whole measure. And it's important to note here that it takes a certain amount of time to cover this entire measure. The amount of total time will not change. This is super important to remember, because we can first divide that whole note into 2 halves, each of which sound for 2 beats. But because we reach the end of the measure in the exact same amount of time as the whole note, well, these must be twice as fast. Then we get to our quarter note, twice as fast again, and it also happens to be our beat, or our unit of measurement on which the measure itself is based. There are 4 of those, obviously. 4 quarters makes $1, blah, blah, blah. Now, we start breaking up the individual beats themselves. Eighth notes are half as long, twice as fast, and every beat gets 2 of them, 8 in a complete measure. And we can just keep going like this. 16th notes are half again as long, twice again as fast, or 4 times as fast as a quarter note, 8 times as fast as a half note, and well, 16 times faster than a whole note. 16 16th notes make up one entire measure. Almost like 16 over 16 is a fraction equals 1. See the clever naming system we've got going on here? Music is not meant to be hard. Now, the insane thing is that this just doesn't stop, ever. You can just keep going, making more insane fractions. Cut it in half again, make it twice as fast again. And of course, that creates a speed up that's exponential, which eventually the universe just tears apart at the seams because somebody thought that playing giant steps at 500 beats per minute was a good idea. That's Dave Pollock, by the way. And if we're all dead floating in space tomorrow, you can blame him. That's actually insane. Good on you, Dave. Now, luckily, we're only gonna use 16th notes for the purposes of this exercise. Now, if I just play the first 5 notes of the scale in one direction and I do that over and over again, I mean, that might be useful somewhat. Maybe if you're just starting out and you're still getting a feel for your fingers, you're still getting the dexterity down and what it feels like to actually play the instrument, sure, that can totally be useful. But eventually, you're gonna wanna do something more involved than that. So you can introduce the left hand. Again, maybe only marginally useful. But what if we flip the direction of the left hand? Now, we're playing in contrary motion. You can actually do this with anything. You can play scales in contrary motion, arpeggios in contrary motion. It's a great way to give your brain a bit of a riddle because now it has to calculate, well, now the hands aren't just doing the same thing at the same time in parallel anymore. It's got to figure out how the two hands are different going in opposite directions, but our brains aren't quite broken yet. If we go back to the way that we divided those 16th notes, you'll notice that we put 4 of them inside of each beat, 4 beats in the measure, and that gives us our 16 16th notes. But very quickly we see the problem with this pattern. It doesn't fit into the subdivision structure that we've just created. Everything in that structure is designed for multiples of 2. 5 just isn't compatible. And it's for that reason that the pattern does not cleanly start again as we reach the next 4 beat count. Well, there are 16 16th notes in a 4/4 measure. But if we play this 5-note pattern 4 times, well, that's 20. But wait a second, that's only 4 additional 16th notes. Can't we just add another beat and make it a 5/4 measure instead of 4/4? Now we're talking. Now we can play this figure 4 times and it'll fit. But there's another problem. Each beat contains 4 16th notes, not 5. Our figure has 5. So what now? Doc Noddy says, not a problem, we'll just play the 5 16th notes and we'll worry about where it lines up in the next measure. But then he says, it's not good enough just to play the groupings of 5 16th notes. I want to hear the beats. I want you to accent each beat. But each beat happens in 4 16th notes, not 5. Do you start to see what's happening here? We're gonna play groupings of 5 16th notes, but we're gonna accent every 4th one, and it gets a little weird. It sounds like this. So not only are we playing in 5/4 now, and not only are we playing 16th notes in groupings of 5, now we have to accent the start of each beat, which is groupings of 4. And oh right, by the way, we're doing this whole thing in the opposite direction in the left hand at the same time. What else do you want to know? Watch what happens when we play those accents. Notice the notes that are being accented. As we play this 5-note scale in an ascending pattern up the keys, I can't even believe I'm saying this, the accents themselves play a longer 5-note descending pattern inside of the pattern we're already playing. Again, also in 2 different directions. Look at this. When we look at it on paper, we can clearly see that when we highlight the notes that are accented, it just creates a longer scale inside of the other one. But it's going in the opposite direction of the one that we're playing with the 16th notes. Is your brain broken yet? No? Okay, well, why don't you now do that exact pattern through 3 different types of scales? We're gonna start major, then we're gonna play minor, and then just for the hell of it, we're gonna play diminished. Why not? All before, you guessed it, moving on to the next key. Is it broken now? No? Fine. Flip the direction every time you move keys. So while you're still reeling from trying to figure out how to play the 3 different types of scales in opposite directions with the accent patterns, now you're trying to get your brain to flip the direction of the whole thing every time you move up, and boy, let me tell you how quickly you forget which direction you were just going a second ago. And it's not like Hanon. Hanon leads you perfectly to the next permutation of the figure. It's like impossible to screw up. Once you get your fingers familiar with the movements, it makes so much sense. It just happens automatically. This is very much not that. The jump is like, it's like you're gonna finish the exercise and then you just randomly jump to a different point in a new key. And at this point, you're probably asking yourself, why? Why on earth are we putting ourselves through this? What's this all for? Surely it's not just another tool for sadistic piano teachers to assign to their students so they can watch the light drain from their eyes until they either quit the piano or decide to go take on tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt so they can go get a performance degree with questionable marketplace value. Really, it's just a guide to learning how to traumatize future generations of naively aspiring pianists. Oh, that's not what's actually written here, my bad. In Dognani's own words, in music schools, piano tuition suffers mostly from far too much exercise material given for the purely technical development of the pupils, the many hours of daily practice spent on these not being in proportion to the results obtained. Musicality is hereby badly neglected and consequently shows many weak points. This goes on for a number of paragraphs, but basically, he was of the opinion that most approaches to exercises were superfluous, just busy work for students, not allowing them to focus on actual repertoire. And I can't say I completely disagree. Exercises are useful, but only to a certain extent, and not to the degree where you end up hating playing the instrument or quitting entirely. So his solution was to create a book that would be entirely sufficient for technical exercises, and presumably what this means is that he decided to cram all of the effectiveness and the functionality of all the other, the Hanon, the Cerny, all the other stuff that we typically do, cram it into one book, and apparently by making a set of exercises that just short circuits your brain entirely. And this is just one of the exercises in this entire book. There's a ton of these. And they just go on and on. You know, it's really fascinating. There's a thing about exercise, piano exercises specifically, that like I never really even realized, but you want to talk about opinions. Everybody has opinions on who's good, who's not, what's bad for your technique, what's gonna hurt you. And the way I would describe it to you is like when you're working on things, literally if it hurts, stop. Like, it's not any more complicated than that. If something is overly strenuous on your fingers, you probably shouldn't do it. It's like lifting weights in a gym. You wanna push yourself and you wanna go beyond what you maybe previously thought you could do, but you don't wanna go to the point where you hurt something. So anytime you feel overstrained or like something's not quite right, don't continue to push that. Take a break, go do something else. Dognani literally says that in the book. What does he say? Somewhere in here. Over fatigue must be avoided and rest must be taken when tiredness sets in. From the man himself. So go forth and, well, first get this PDF for free and try to figure it out for yourself, because I'm telling you, this thing is a brain melter, a brain destroyer. I am still working on trying to get this thing fluid. It is like next to impossible. It's not impossible. You can do it. It just might take you a really long time, but that's okay. That's the whole point of all of this. Something to strive for. And if you want something to strive for, don't forget, take advantage of this year's Black Friday sale, because it is insane. 8 courses for 99 bucks with a brand new course coming out that you're just gonna get automatically once it releases. You guys, take advantage of this sale. That course alone is gonna be more expensive than this entire bundle once it comes out. I want you to play music and to play the piano. That's kind of like the whole point of this channel. It's my goal to make music feel accessible, to make it feel like it's not this mystical, magical art form that you are not capable of learning how to do yourself. You absolutely are, and that is why I do all the content that I do, but to get a lot more in depth, that's why we've built the courses as well. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of this Black Friday sale. By the time you're seeing it, it might be live. Look for a link in the description. But regardless, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this video and other videos on this channel. I really appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next one.